Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I quickly want to show you how I draw my trend lines, because I have a specific pattern of trend line I draw. So I want to show you how I draw my trend line. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is how I pick my pullbacks. Not the conventional way people pick their pullbacks, because at times people say once you have a three consecutive candle, it's a pullback. That is not my own method. I just want to show you. So this is more like an addition to the previous video. Maybe to get an entry or to determine the sweet spot for my entry. So either way, I want this video to be a very short one, so please I'll just be fast with it. So in case you don't understand at the initial watch, you can go back and watch over and over again and see for yourself. So let's start this way. So for this specific one, this is the way I do it. Let's use this. This is if you look from here, this is a high. This is a high. If you're starting from here now, this move, this extension or expansion, whichever one you choose to call it, this is a move towards the upside. This is a move towards the buy side. On normal grounds, this is a pullback. That is from the way we understand it. So for me, there has to be a break of the highest high on this leg, this expansion leg. There has to be a break of the highest high. A high in the sense that this candle, this red candle closed above this black candle, so that qualifies it as a high. So I'll just put a trend line here like this. So once I have a lower low form, I know this high is valid, so my pullback has started. Let me now show you one thing so that you know what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. From here to here, let's just look at it. This is from this place to this place. This is the beginning of the expansion phase. This is the end of the expansion phase. This is a 1 minute and 1 hour chart. So now let's go to 15 minutes chart and see. Maybe we'll see what I'm saying clearly there. Okay, let's use maybe a 5 minutes chart. Remember, it started from here. Look at this. Is that a pullback? Is this not a pullback? This is a pullback. So let's mark it so you see. Let's start from here. Let's mark it. I want to be fast as possible. Fast on this. So this is a pullback. Okay, let me use something thick so at least so it's become that very visible. Okay, let me add to it. Okay, so that's a pullback. Let's see. Was this taken? Yes, it was. This is another pullback. There was no lower low below this, so this is another pullback. But since it partially broke this, I'll just leave this one. This pullback is inside this, so let's just leave this one. Okay, so let's get it like this. Do we have a high here? Yes. So if you want to look at it, yes, this still qualifies as a pullback if you follow the three consecutive candle rule. So there's a pullback here. Yes, 3 consecutive candle. There's after this no, there's not. Okay, let's go back to the 1 hour chart. Look at it. This is where we marked earlier. Look at it now. This is a pullback. This is a pullback. This is a pullback. I hope you understand what I'm saying now. So this is a pullback on the lower time frame. So for this expansion phase, from this trend line to this trend line now, you can see that this qualifies as a low. This is a low. This is a low. So what I'm saying now is, for my own pullback, there must be a break of the highest low. This is a low, this is a low, this is a low. So the break of this highest low, there has to be a lower low. So that is when I now consider the end. I now believe, okay, this end has finished, and this expansion has finished. So now we are on a pullback phase. Once I have a lower low below, that's a break below the low of this expansion phase. That's the highest low. The break below the highest low, and a lower low forms. That is when I believe now we are in a pullback phase. And the same thing applies to if we are going to enter another expansion phase. There has to be a break. That is my own way of doing it. There has to be a break above the highest low. And if you look at it now, let's borrow this. Let's borrow this and make a sample of it. If you look at it now, let's move to this side. Okay, let's still borrow that one again. Let's make a copy of that. This. Yeah. So from somewhere around this place now, once there's a break above and a higher high forms, we are in the expansion phase. That is how I pick my pullback. So from here now to here, that is my pullback phase. I hope you get it now, because there was a break below this, a lower low form. So that is how that is my own pullback. A pullback like this on a normal chart like this. A pullback like this on a normal chart like this is the external pullback. A pullback like this one now on a chart like this is an internal pullback. This is an internal pullback. This is an internal one. This one is an internal one. This is an internal one too. So all these internal ones probably belong to maybe 15 minutes chart. On a 15 minutes chart, it might be a pullback there. On a 30 minutes chart, it might be a pullback there. But for this 1 hour chart, if it doesn't meet the criteria, if it doesn't do this, break below the highest low, it is an internal pullback. Okay, let's look at this one for example now. Let's come here and look at this one for example. Does this qualify as a pullback? Let's look at it. Where is the high? If you dive in, maybe the 5 minutes charts, you go and check it out the way we did here, the way we checked it out, to confirm this low, and this low. if you go there, you will discover that this is the low. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I like confirmations rather than just guesswork. I like confirming things because I want my followers, the Lazy Academy followers, to always have the best. Look at that. I want the best for you guys. I want you guys to say Lazy is indeed the bomb. He's always telling us the facts. Okay, look at it. If you bring this, all this one. Okay, let's see this. This falls within the same range. If you say this is a low, yes, it is. It is a low. That was it. Okay, this took it out. This took this one out too. Okay, let me confirm one thing first. I want you guys. That is, I can't just keep it to myself. I can't deceive you guys. Okay, look at that. They didn't take it out. Take it out here. So this, see. So this is the low here. This is the low there. Let's go back to our 1 hour. For this now, this is, like I said, this is the highest low here. This followed that. This is the low followed by this. So as it is from here to here on the 1 hour chart, this is the highest low. This is the highest low. And the low was taken out and a lower low formed, and we got here. So now if you want to look at it, the pullback started from here, broke the highest low, formed a lower low, and came down to this place. So this one qualifies as a pullback too. Okay, this is the low, the highest low. The highest low was broken and it formed a lower low. Okay, look at this one too. The highest low was broken and a lower low formed. That is what qualifies it as a pullback. So if you adopt this method, you will be on the right side of everything, because you'll be dealing, you know your external highs and lows, and you know your internal highs and lows. So it allows you to make accurate decisions. When an external high or low is taken, is broken, you know a change of character has happened. Not when you have a break of an internal low, you start thinking you have a break. I hope you get that point. So you hear me saying my own method of choosing a pullback. This is what I've explained here to you guys. So if you don't understand, please watch the video again. So now let's go into how I map out my trend lines. Because most times you'll be hearing me, like the previous videos, you hear me say something like, dive down to maybe a 5-minute chart, let's plot our trend line so that we'll be able to mark the sweet spots. Let me show you the way I pick my trend, I mark my trend line. Let's remove this, so you see what I'm saying. Let's remove this too. Where is it? So like I said in the previous video, the highest buy candle for this chart now, my red candle is my buy candle. Red candle is my buy candle. The black candle is my sell candle. Buy candle in the sense that it is the expansion candle. That if the price action is going up, it is the red candle that is showing the direction of price is going up, and it's the black candle that is showing the direction, that's printing when the price action is actually going down. So the highest buy candle, that is where I start the trend line from. I and I'll now start looking at it. That method we use to check, to confirm the highs and lows when we were trying to map out the highest high or the highest low for the pullback is the same thing. Now, if you look at it, this is a high. That's a lower high here. Another lower high here. Then a lower high, till we get to, I think, this spot. Let me look at it. Let me confirm first. I don't want to make any mistake. Okay, you see? Because the red candle has to be taken out by the black candle to confirm that high. So now it wasn't taken out by this, it was taken out by this. So that means from this black candle to this black candle, now everything we are inside it is within this low. So that means this is the lowest high here. Okay, let's go and confirm. I like confirmations. Let's put something there so we don't miss the spot we're trying to get. This is where we're trying to confirm. Let's go into the 5 minutes. Where are you at? Okay, let's zoom out a bit so you see it. Okay, no, let's zoom out. Zoom in. Okay, there's a way you look at these things. Let's use this one. If you mark it like this, you now mark this like this. I'm trying to show you inside that chart. Okay, let's go back so you see now. From this, this is a high. From another high. I hope you get it. This is one high, two high, three high. This is the last high there. So now let's go back to our 1 hour chart. So from what we marked on the 5 minutes chart, look at it. We said this was a high, this was another high, and this is the last high. And if you now look at it from here, you know that it was taken out here. This candle took the low of this candle. So that means from this red candle, now everything within it to this spot is the low. That is the high, sorry. So now if you look at it, if you put this here, it is when it got here that it got taken out. That is when the expansion phase started. So this marks the highest, that's the lowest high. So like I said, plotting my trend line, that particular trend line, I said I like plotting on the 5 minutes chart to confirm my sweet spot. So it starts from the highest buy candle to the lowest high. You know, we tracked it, and this is the lowest high. So you make sure it touches the lowest high, and now you expand it. I hope you get it now. The highest buy candle to the lowest high. That is the way I plot my trend line. And let me just quickly show you something. So for some of you who have the eyes to see it, the last candle before the break, look at it, higher high came there, but that is not the point. But it's another strategy too if you have the patience and the eye to see it. Okay, so now if I want to plot the next one, I'm showing you how it's a recap of the two last videos I did. I'm just trying to explain certain things because people have been reaching out to me to ask questions. Like they don't really understand why I drew my trend line like that. So I'm trying to explain again now. So now from the lowest, we picked the highest buy candle for the trend line that is going up. Now if we are a trend line that is going up, if we picked the highest buy candle to the lowest high for the trend line that is going down. Now for the trend line that is going up, you pick the lowest sell candle to the highest high and the highest low, to the highest low. So now if you now pick the lowest sell candle, this is a low, this is another low, this is a low. This is the low, the highest low for this move up. You now place your trend line on it, you extend it, you make sure it rests on that particular sell candle. This one, it starts from any candle, the candle, any color candle. That is, if your trend line starts from a red candle here, a buy candle, it has to rest on a buy candle here. On the buy candle, the highest buy candle for the lowest high. If your candle here is the black candle, your trend line has to rest on the black candle. That's the highest low, not the other color, because there's a way they plot these things. It is that trend line magic. That is where you're getting some of these things. So now this lowest sell candle, you put the first touch there, then it has to rest on the black candle here, the wick. If the candle has no wick, to rest on that same top, so it has to rest on the wick. Okay? That is how I draw my trend line. And like I showed you one thing there, let me just quickly show you something else again. Not part of what we're doing, but it's just a bonus tip. That is the last candle before the break. The last opposite candle before the break. Look at it. Can't you do something with this? You could have done something with this. This is an entry to sell, but that's for another day. Like I showed you earlier here. I'll be giving you bonus tips, so don't worry. Look at it. Those sweet, juicy things. Higher high, a retest, and but that's not the thing. That's just a bonus for this video. So my people, this is how I draw my trend lines. A particular video where I talked about dropping down to the 5 minutes chart to go and pick a sweet spot. This is how I drew. This is exactly how I drew my trend line on the 5 minutes chart till I got to the Fibonacci spot and I took my entry. So, and for how I pick my pullbacks, I've explained that earlier. So, and for the love of the lazy team, the lazy academy, I've given you additional bonus tips, like where you can quickly just catch some pips, and like you could have caught some here. You could have caught some here. I love giving people bonus. This is a bonus. You could have caught some here. That is the sell candle before the breakout candle. The red candle broke this, so immediately there is a breakout, higher high, it will come back to the last opposing candle before it moves, and that is exactly what it did. You got it. Higher high, it came back here, retest, and what happened? That's another strategy. And look at this too. There was a break, and the last candle before that break, look at what happened. So let me say something too before I round up this video. This trend line, once you place your trend line, you'll be tracking the lows. So once you have a break above the trend line and a higher high forms, this trend line has finished its work. Let me remove this first so you understand what I'm saying. It is like this. You start from here, then maybe it's forming gradually. Maybe if this is the last place, the last one that formed, you put your trend line on it. The next one that forms, the next red that forms, you put your trend line on it. Once it forms and a black closes below it, put your trend line on it. That is how you'll be doing it till you get to the last candle, the lowest high. So once a higher high forms above the trend line, that means that is the end of this trend line. So you start following up, because what makes a higher high form, that means the price has stopped going down, it is going up. So you start monitoring too. You monitor it. Okay, now this candle closes above this, you place your trend line on the bottom, the wick of the black candle, like this, at the bottom of this. So now this forms, there's no lower low here. You rest your candle on the bottom of this black candle. Make sure it touches. Yeah, it touches. So now look at it. The price action did what? Touched the trend line, formed, then it broke it, but there was no lower low, and it went up again till it formed a black, then a red candle closed above that black. Then you know this low is valid. Then you put your trend line on the wick of the low till what happened? It broke the trend line again, but this time it didn't go up, it did a lower low. That is when you are sure this trend line is now validated. It's valid. It has finished its work, but it's valid. So I hope this explains the pullback method I use, then the trend line method I use. So if you don't understand, please try to watch the video over and over again. Then probably if you practice makes perfect. When you practice over time, you get used to it. Personally, I don't draw trend lines like this any longer because I've trained my eyes to it. I can see without plotting trend lines. Then there's this thing I did there, because I know you may be wondering, you did something, didn't explain it. Okay, so now for this move, to make your chart neat, because I want you to always see your chart neat, clean, so you can easily understand, pick your points, your zones, your sweet spots. So for this move, to make it neat, you look at the lowest wick there. This is for this area now where the X happens. Where is the lowest point there? This is the lowest point. You bring this one, you put it there. Okay, so you look at the next X where the two trend line crosses. Where is the highest here? This is the highest. You connect this one to this place. Look at the next one. Where is the lowest here? This is the lowest spot. You bring this one, you connect it here. This is the highest spot here. Because assuming we are continuing the trend line, you would have had one here and probably one here. So you bring this to the highest here. And look at it at the end of the day, you have a neat trend line formation. That is how you plot your trend lines. Till maybe you are looking for a break of the high or the break of the high or the break of the low. Then that is how you plot it. I hope you get it. So till next time, I hope to come again to your screens and bring the juicy things. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Because the more you subscribe, I get encouraged to bring in more juicy stuffs. So please comment. If you like this, let me know you like it. If you have ideas of how I can make my videos more entertaining, or you have suggestions, generally, just write it in the comment sections. And please, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I promise I will always answer. So please, subscribe, and till the next time I come your way, please hit the notification bell so you get notified once juicy stuffs like this come out from my stables. Have a nice day.